So I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys on how to get good handwriting. And I get it, because the transition from writing with pen and paper where there's friction and it just feels right because you've been doing it all your life, to the sudden shift of writing on a glass screen with the Apple Pencil is quite a difficult transition to make. In fact, a lot of people I have spoken to have gotten their hopes so high before getting an iPad, then they get it, and then they're so disappointed with how their handwriting looks, so they give up. And so if that may be how you're feeling on the inside, my friend, today we're gonna walk through a couple tips to help you get better handwriting. Welcome back to another video, everyone. It is lovely to see you again. My name is Samuel Suresh. If you're here for the first time, I'm an educator, filmmaker, marketer, and one of the things I love doing is helping students own their learning and infusing technology creatively into that process. So before we get into handwriting, I wanted to spend a minute or two talking about why good handwriting. Because it isn't as obvious as it may seem, because for most of my life, I didn't really care about how my handwriting looked. A lot of the times when taking notes in class, I was looking for the most efficient way to transcribe information. In my final year of school, I remember having an English exam, a history exam, and I had to write 3 essays in 2 hours. The last thing I was thinking about was how my handwriting looked. It was only when I was given opportunities to write on a whiteboard and other people had to see what I was writing, or I was designing a page of notes that I genuinely wanted to go and look at later, that the actual legibility and perhaps beauty and aesthetic in the handwriting became something that was valuable to me. Now, there are artists out there who literally do things like calligraphy and hand lettering, which go on posters in front of large groups of people who are at that end of the spectrum. But today I'm sort of trying to find a balance in between. And the case I want to make to you is, if you're willing to see the utility there is in coming up with beautiful handwriting and working on it over here, I actually think it elevates your handwriting when you're just trying to be efficient. So without further ado, let's get into it. Tip number 1, find the right app. There are so many apps you can choose to take digital notes on the iPad, and I think finding the right one for you solves 50% of the problem of getting good handwriting. If you're looking for a free app, one of the apps I recommend is Apple Notes. It's a pretty decent option for a free app, and I know quite a few people who really like the way their handwriting looks on the app. If you're looking for something more in your note taking, you can go into the realm of paid apps, and there are a few that I recommend. There's Goodnotes, there's Notability, there's an app called NoteShelf. I personally use Goodnotes because I love the pen in it, but I have friends who use Notability and NoteShelf, and they have managed to find the perfect writing experience on those apps for themselves. And so one of the things I really recommend is, before committing to one app, take a little bit of time, experiment, try out the pens and the features in the different apps, and find one that just naturally excites you and makes you want to take notes on the iPad. Because I think enjoying the process from the start, where your handwriting doesn't look that great, is the key, because it helps you keep going and improve over time. As I said, my personal app of choice is Goodnotes, because in my opinion, it has the best digital ink experience in their fountain pen out of all the apps in the App Store. And so as we go through the next couple of steps, I'll be walking you through my process in Goodnotes. But just in case you're using another app, know that the same principles apply. So tip number 2, find the pen settings that work for you. I don't know if you've ever done that thing where you've spent an hour in a stationery store trying out all the pens, all the different thicknesses, all the different colors, to find the pen that just suits the way your handwriting looks like. The pen of choice that I ended up with was the 0.7 Uniball Signo pen. And it was an ink pen, so it was not a ballpoint pen, and I just really loved the way it flowed on the page. It allowed me to write really quickly, and in moments where I wanted to, I just liked the really contrasty black color it had on the page. And so today in Goodnotes, there's actually a fountain pen that I found initially emulated the feeling I used to have when I used this pen. And I remember loving this pen so much. And the crazy thing is, I actually like the Goodnotes pen even more because I think it makes my handwriting look better. And so just in case you wanted to know, these are the settings that I'm using in Goodnotes here. And the thickness of my pen most of the time is around 0.25 to 0.35. And if I want my text to be bigger, I actually don't go and select a larger pen. I actually just use the lasso tool and I resize it. Tip number 3, use grid paper. For the last 5 years, every single time I've pulled out my iPad to take notes, I have always used grid paper. And you can find grid paper in Goodnotes, for example, by tapping New Note, selecting Notebook, and if you go to your different paper templates down the bottom, the grid paper in Goodnotes is called squared paper. And what I really love about grid paper is it really allows you to get a sense of space. So firstly, the horizontal lines ensure that you're writing in straight lines and not just going all over the place. But I think the vertical lines help you see whether you're shaping certain letters too big and certain letters too small. And consistency is a really important aspect of the kind of handwriting you want to make. And so always when I'm taking my notes, I have grid paper on. And what's really cool is after you've created a whole page of notes, you can go in afterwards, turn off grid paper, and literally like magic, it's almost as though you never used it in the first place. Tip number 4, try and get a sense, and I mean quite a literal sense, of the kind of handwriting you want to have. And the reason this is important is in these moments where you're changing things and you are making that transition from pen and paper to the screen on the iPad, one thing you can do is just go from average handwriting on pen and paper to average handwriting on the iPad. Or you can use this period of change to actually take your handwriting to the next level. So try and imagine what that is, and maybe go online, go to Google Images, go to Pinterest, find videos, essentially have something you are aiming at. I never used a stencil by myself. I would literally just go in, shape out my letters, ask myself, is that the sort of handwriting I want? No, it isn't. And I'm always comparing it to this image in my mind of the kind of handwriting I want to have. And I think a tip that will really help you work on this over time is tip number 5, zoom in and write large and slow. One of the things that's really hard to do, especially when you don't have the friction of pen and paper, is write really small and fast and have a sense of control. Because the screen can feel really slippery and the muscles in your finger are just not adjusted to that level of control. And so I really recommend, while using grid paper, zooming in and shaping out your letters really big. One of the things I did initially that sort of helped me be okay with my handwriting was I just used to write in capital letters. There's something about the way capital letters fill up space that really forces you to be intentional about really getting those shapes right, that I think is such a great exercise when you're trying to retrain the muscles in your fingers. And honestly, when I think about it, I remember there was like a 6-month period in my first year of university where I had a lot of notes I needed to take, but I remember taking my time, slowing down a little bit, and just being consistent every single day, taking notes, making that page of notes, looking at my handwriting, evaluating, making small changes, always knowing the kind of handwriting I wanted to have. And over time, what's really cool is your handwriting starts to look a little better. You can zoom out a little bit more and start to write a bit smaller, and you begin to make that adjustment to the iPad screen. And so finally, 2 more tips. The first one, even after hearing tips 1 to 5, if you are still struggling with that transition from pen and paper to the glass screen of the iPad, I really recommend you get a matte screen protector, such as, for example, the PaperLike Screen Protector, who are kindly sponsoring this video. And if you haven't noticed already, my iPad has a matte screen protector on the moment. It's called the PaperLike Screen Protector because the screen protector in itself makes your iPad screen feel more like paper. And so if you were to zoom in really close, you would see these ridge-like structures that essentially give your Apple Pencil just a little bit more resistance and friction as it goes against the screen. And so for a significant amount of people I have spoken to, the addition of this screen protector has made a huge difference for them. If you do purchase the PaperLike Screen Protector, you actually get 2 of them. And for someone who writes on my iPad intensively over the last couple of years, I think each screen protector will give you a solid 12 to 18 months of optimal use. To go with that, because it's a matte screen protector, it also reduces the glare on the screen because the nanodot texture refracts the light and scatters it. And so if you're outside, if you're working in the sun, if there's reflections, the screen protector eliminates a bit of that, which is really nice for a lot of people. And I kid you not, I read these exact words on their website the other day. We are so confident in our screen protector, and that is why we offer our customers a 100-day satisfaction guarantee. If for any reason customers are not happy with their screen protector, we will offer a free replacement or refund within 100 days. And so if you are hesitant, but you are struggling with that transition to the glass screen of the iPad, I strongly recommend this product. And final tip for the video, find an ergonomic grip for your fingers on the Apple Pencil. You're going to be using this thing for hours, and so finding a way to do that comfortably is really important. You know, there are so many different ways people hold the pen. There is this grip here that I see a lot of people doing with ballpoint pens. There's weird grips like this, weird grips like this. I've always held my pencil like this. And one of the things that I have absolutely loved recently is this Apple Pencil grip that, if you have been watching my videos over the last couple of months, you will know has not left my Apple Pencil at all. And no surprise, this is actually from PaperLike 2. I used to be the person who said I am never going to put a grip on my Apple Pencil because it makes my Apple Pencil look ugly. Yet here I am today. I can't remove this thing because my fingers feel so comfortable for hours when taking notes and using this grip on the Apple Pencil. And I would go so far as to say, controversially, that this grip makes a bigger difference for me in terms of my speed, control, and comfort when it comes to note taking than the PaperLike Screen Protector in itself. And so I really recommend that. Oh, and so if you actually visit PaperLike's website, there is a bundle of accessories called the Note Taker Collection, which comes with 2 PaperLike Screen Protectors, 2 grips like these, a gray one and a blue one, and throw into that PaperLike's cleaning kit, which is essentially this fine apparatus here, which, if you push up, is a spray bottle with a screen cleaning spray in it, which you can use like this. And then you can use the body of the thing in itself to wipe the screen, or a microfiber cloth if you have one of those. Really neat. I keep it with me in my bag when I travel. I kind of just like the way it looks. But yeah, if you're interested in that entire bundle, I will put a link down in the description. So yeah guys, that's it for today's video. 7 tips to help you guys get better handwriting. I just want to remind you that this takes time and you have to be intentional about it. I remember that entire period of my life constantly being analytical, making small adjustments and judgments around the quality of my handwriting. If you're willing to make that investment in yourself while you're a student, you will be so surprised in the things it allows you to do later on when you get opportunities to use that handwriting to do creative things in whatever context you're involved in. Thanks for watching everyone, I really appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section down below. But apart from that, I will see you in the next video. 'Cause we're almost on